don't watch this video or this series. I want every video in this series, when I look at the analytics bar of it, like episode 1 can have as many views as it needs, because you guys don't know not to watch this series unless you tune into it and you hear me say don't watch this series. Hopefully you've already tuned out and went to watch a better video. If you didn't, this is your last chance. Please don't watch this video or this series. So if I've done my job right and look at the analytics, the viewer retention graph for this series should have a high peak until about maybe 30 seconds into the video, and then should drop off to 0%. And then every subsequent video in this series should have 0 views for all the rest of time, if I've done my job adequately. If not, then I don't know. I tried to save you people from the worst character in Risk of Rain. And just to make this series doubly bad, not only are we playing the Enforcer, the worst character in Risk of Rain, I'm also going to use this opportunity to talk about a whole bunch of negative stuff about Risk of Rain 2, because people always ask me on Risk of Rain videos, what are my thoughts on Risk of Rain 2? Even though I have given my thoughts on Risk of Rain 2 in great detail in some of my videos, I haven't done it in all of my Risk of Rain videos, so this seems like a good place to do it. Put all of the negativity into what I already know is going to be the worst series of Risk of Rain videos I ever make, and then it's all localized in one spot and nobody has to watch it. This, to me, seems like a good plan, and that's what we're going to go forward doing. So let me briefly outline the plan here. I've given myself 2 hours to get an Enforcer run going. I don't know if that's going to help. I do have Glass and Sacrifice and Origin turned on. Those are kind of my default artifacts that I like. I'm not going to do any farming. I'm just going to play the game for 2 hours, and if I get a run going, that's great, and if we don't get a run going, then that's fine too. And then we just don't play Enforcer anymore after that. That's the plan anyway. We'll see how it goes. So let's talk about an Enforcer a little bit, because ostensibly that's my job. I'm a Let's Player. I got to bring you guys the facts about the game. Risk of Rain has a lot of great characters to play as. There's a great variety in the types of characters the games have. The developers did a really good job of matching all of the different kinds of playstyles that could work in their game and building a particular class around those playstyles. All the characters do kind of converge on a kind of standard high mobility, hit and run, super high damage playstyle on a long enough timeline. If you loop enough, there is a convergence of characters, but in the early game, by which I mean the first couple of loops, successful runs from each character will look a little different. The items that each character wants will look a little different. There are 3 characters in the game that I don't think work the way the developers intended. The first of those is the Bandit, and that's just because the way that the Bandit's reset ability works. He has an ability that can reset his best offensive attack, and the way that that functions with Risk of Rain's constant horde of monsters mode is basically you can never pull that off consistently in the moments you want to. It's a nice perk when you do pull it off, but it's not consistent. You can't really aim at one particular monster to get that headshot ability to reset your kind of stealth ability that the Bandit has. So the Bandit, some people do like the Bandit gameplay, some people do think the Bandit's a fun character, and the Bandit has a really fun glitch you can play with, but I don't think the Bandit works as intended. I don't think that the character functions the way that Hopo Games wanted the character to function. The second character I think is Handy. Handy's runs go really well when they go really well, but all of his gameplay is predicated on him getting a particular kill streak going, and depending on what items you get, what levels you end up with, what elites you roll, and how early on the timer all of this happens, you may or may not be able to get the Handy kill engine going. If you can get it going, it's almost always going to be a successful run, and if you can't get it going, it's just, well, sometimes the dice don't come up for you. I particularly do like Handy as a character. I think he's a blast to play, and I think there's a lot of really good challenge runs and limitation runs you can do in Risk of Rain that Handy is very well suited for. But again, I don't think he works precisely the way the developers intended him to work. And then there's the Enforcer, where not only does the Enforcer not work, because like I said, the Bandit doesn't work the way the developers intended, but he still does kind of work because other playstyles can work with him. Handy doesn't work the way that they wanted him to, but when the engine gets going, it still does kind of work. Enforcer, I don't think the way that this game is built can handle a character like Enforcer. And a purely defensive character in Risk of Rain is such a bad idea overall. It's a little surprising, it's a little alarming really, that a character like this got off the design table. Not only do I not know how this character is supposed to be played, or how he's supposed to work given the game's horde of monsters that's always attacking you, I don't think I've ever actually seen like video of how the character is supposed to work. Sniper's a character kind of like that. I've seen a lot of people say about Sniper what I say about like Bandit and Handy. Like, oh, the character doesn't work properly. The game is not built for the Sniper and his reloading mechanics. And I'm going to take the stopwatch, I think. I'd rather have that than the heal on glass, honestly. If I'm going to get killed, it's going to be a one-shot anyway, so. But I've seen really high-level Sniper gameplay. In fact, one of my first Risk of Rain series on YouTube was me demonstrating how the Sniper is supposed to be played. And I intend to do another Sniper series kind of showcasing that as well. But it's not difficult to find people who play the Sniper properly and know how to do it and kind of make the case for, you know, I do need to grab this and pop it real quick. We'll just pop it real quick, it's fine. Now I got greater wisps up here to worry about, and that's not fun. Okay. Gotta get out of there for a second. What do I have to heal with? Nothing. I've got no healing items yet. Good times. But yeah, I don't think I've seen the same for the Enforcer. I don't think I've seen like video evidence of this is how, like, what high-level Enforcer play looks like. This is how to properly utilize the Enforcer's skills in a way that will make you successful with the character. I just don't think the character works given the kind of game Risk of Rain is. So let's walk through his skills. He actually does have a pretty good basic skill. This shotgun, it's a short range blast. In fact, you'll see the extent of the range is the further little burst of light out in front of him. That's all the range you get. But it's a piercing shot. It's a full AoE shot, which is actually pretty good. He's got this awesome little grenade that he can throw, and those two moves, both moves are really good. And all of the successful Enforcer gameplay that I've ever had and that I've seen in my travels across these wild yubba tubes of ours utilize these two moves while also hit and running a lot. The standard Risk of Rain mobility tactics. And this is where the Enforcer really falls apart, is he doesn't have a mobility skill. The Bandit also doesn't have a mobility skill in the truest sense. He has his disappearing skill that does make him invulnerable and does make him faster, but it's not very good from the standpoint of, oh, I need to move fast right now, which almost every other class in the game has something like that. What he has instead is he can drop this riot shield, boom, on the ground, that reduces his mobility, increases his rate of fire, and makes him invulnerable from the front. And this is okay, sometimes, providing you're fighting creatures that are slower than you, facing the wrong way, oops, and providing you face the right way, you can hold off like a line of these claymen pretty safely, as long as there are no elites. Because what happens is when elites start showing up, you start getting blue elites that can give you electricity shocks from a few steps away, or yellow elites that can just teleport into the range of your shield. Because you're only blocking shots from the front, I'm fine against these spiders right now, I'm fine against anything from the front, but there's nothing stopping a monster from just walking into my hitbox and hitting me from inside or above or behind. And basically every kind of elite can do that. Like here we have a missile elite, right? So if I drop my shield here, if the missiles hit me from the front, I'm safe, but the missile can also curve around and hit me from above, which I can't do anything about. You can't jump when the riot shield is down, your mobility is lowered, you can't turn it around, you can't direct the shield. So it's situational at best. You can't build a playstyle around the use of this riot shield. And his other move is this, the shield bash, and that's pretty good. That looks really good, right? That's a good, like a melee option. It pushes all the monsters away from you. You'd think, oh yeah, they get close. You know, you pop down your riot shield, you take advantage of the increased rate of fire, and then if the monsters get close, you hit your shield bash and throw them away. The problem with that is so many monsters in this game, the shield animation is so slow, it has such a wind-up to it, that by the time you, the move actually comes out, pretty much every monster in the game can have attacked you. So if you're not already blocking with your shield in the direction that a monster attacks you from, that riot shield's probably not going to come out. At least not in the way you want it to. And that's really the weakness of the character, is I'm not sure I understand how his various abilities are supposed to facilitate a successful playstyle. And I'm not sure that I've ever seen a successful Enforcer playstyle demonstrated. I do know that there are Enforcer fans out there. I choose to believe that they're just contrarians. There are always people who are going to gravitate towards the worst character in the game and insist that they're not the worst character in the game. Like, every character is good as long as you know how to use them. I just don't think that's the case. I think some characters... This one, there was some imagination behind him, a purely defensive character. What would that look like in Risk of Rain? Well, it turns out it doesn't look like much of anything. It looks like a character that doesn't get much play, that nobody seems to know what to do with, that doesn't have very many strengths. And that's why Enforcer is the worst character in the game. But I did commit to doing a full playthrough with each character, and Enforcer is a character in the game, so I do have to have an Enforcer series, and so here it is. Hi, I'm Brickroad. This is Let's Play Risk of Rain. This is the Enforcer. I'm gonna do my best! I'm gonna push it as far as I can go. And so then to address the second topic I had at hand, because the most popular videos on my channel right now are my Risk of Rain Hundo series, where I go through and get 100% of all of the unlocks in Risk of Rain, starting from scratch. It's a good series. I enjoyed making it a lot. We got a lot of good gameplay in. There are high notes, there are low notes. I only had to play the Enforcer, I think, once in the whole series, which is fine. Shoutouts to Finneran for sponsoring this video. If you liked the video and you want to see more, please tickle my thumb, leave a friendly comment, and ring my little bell.